Bonjour. In this lesson, we're going to cover the present tense, different usage of the present tense, how to form a negative statement, as well as how to ask questions in French. So first, the present tense in French grammar corresponds to the English simple present. The present tense talks about current situations, repeated actions that are in the present, habitual actions, as well as scheduled future actions. To conjugate a verb in the French present tense, we take the stem of the verb and we add the corresponding subject pronoun ending to the stem of the verb. Now you can refer to my video titled Verb Conjugation to learn how to conjugate verbs. Now, verbs fall under 3 different categories in French: first group, second group, and third group. Okay, so the majority of French verbs are from the first group. So you would take the stem of the verb and you would add the corresponding subject pronoun ending to it. In our first usage of the present tense, we're going to look at current situations and actions that are happening right now. So we're going to look at 4 different examples. In the first example, je suis heureux. Je suis heureux. I am happy. So this être is the verb être here. Okay, this is my current state of being. I am happy. Je suis heureux. This is a fact. Second sentence is il fait froid. Il fait froid. It is cold. This is the current state of the weather. Okay, right now outside, il fait froid. So faire is the verb. Okay, faire, to make or to do. But it's translated as, in the sentence, it is cold. The next sentence, le chat attrape la souris. Le chat attrape la souris. The cat catches the mouse. So attraper means to catch. So again, if you're thinking about this sentence in your head, the cat catches the mouse. Okay, this is something that's happening currently in this situation. This is an action that's happening now. Attraper is the verb. And then the last example, Angélique écoute de la musique. Angélique is listening to music. Écouter means to listen. So this is something that's happening currently, right now, in the present moment. The second usage of the present tense is habitual actions. So French does not have a specific tense that reflects habitual actions. Instead, the context let us know if the action is a habit or if the action is happening on a regular basis. And English expresses this in the same way as well. So let's look at some examples. So in the first example, we have Je joue au tennis. I play tennis. So right now in the sentence, there's no clue, there's no indication, there's no detail as to if this is habitual or not. Je joue au tennis. I play tennis. When, where, why. Okay, there's no indication of any of that. Pourquoi? Parce que. None of that. Okay? Now let's say we add le jeudi, je joue au tennis. On Thursdays, I play tennis. So now we added le jeudi on Thursdays, and now we have a clue that this is habitual. Every Thursdays I play tennis. Okay, so you see the difference? Le jeudi, Thursdays. Another example, Jean-Pierre boit du café le matin. Jean-Pierre boit du café le matin. Jean-Pierre drinks coffee in the morning. Okay, le matin is in the morning. So we know le matin, in the morning, Jean-Pierre drinks coffee. So that's our indication, that's our clue that this is habitual. Another example, elle fait du sport tous les jours. She works out every day. So tous les jours is your habitual detail, your habitual clue. Okay, to tell you this is every day that this is happening. Elle fait du sport tous les jours. She works out every day. And then we'll do one more example. Je pars en vacances chaque été. Je pars en vacances chaque été. I go on vacation every summer. So chaque été, every summer, is my clue that this is habitual. Every summer, I go on vacation. And the third usage of the present tense deals with scheduled future actions. Scheduled future actions. So in the same way that we looked at habitual actions, and the context give us a clue whether or not if the action is a habit, the context is also going to give us a clue as to if the scheduled future action, however, that clue is going to be a time period. So we're looking for time period words in the context. So let's look at some examples. So in our first example, we have Ils arrivent bientôt. Ils arrivent bientôt. They're arriving soon. So bientôt is a preposition that means soon. So now we have a clue in the sentence that they're arriving soon. Bientôt is our clue. Okay. Now also with the verb arriver, arriver means to arrive. It can also mean to come. However, you want to think of this as arriving in an airport. Another example is Demain, je vais à la bibliothèque. Demain, je vais à la bibliothèque. Tomorrow, I'm going to the bookstore. So the first word in the sentence is demain, tomorrow. So here we have a time period word that gives us an indication, okay, about when this is happening. Demain, tomorrow. Another example, nous partons dans 2 heures. Nous partons dans 2 heures. We're leaving in 2 hours. So dans 2 heures, in 2 hours, is our clue. It's our time period detail of our future action. And then a last example, je pars à Londres le mois prochain. Je pars à Londres le mois prochain. I'm going to London next month. So le mois prochain, next month, is our clue that this is happening in the future. The basic way to form a negative sentence is by adding ne pas to the sentence. Ne pas means not. So the ne is going to appear before the verb and pas will appear after the verb. So let's look at some examples. So in the first example, Julien mange le porc. Julien mange le porc. Julien eats pork. So now we want to make this a negative sentence. Julien ne mange pas le porc. Julien does not eat pork. Okay? So you see the verb manger, and then in between there's a ne pas. Okay? To make it negative. That's how you always want to place your ne pas. It's going to be in between the verb. Okay? Always, always. So another example, we have j'aime le caviar. J'aime le caviar. I like caviar. And then we want to make the sentence negative. Je n'aime pas le caviar. I don't like caviar. So now you notice the difference. The ne is shortened by an N apostrophe, N apostrophe. And why is that? That's because if you make it ne aime, you have an E and an A that are clashing. And the pronunciation or the understanding just doesn't sound right. Okay? A French speaker is going to know it doesn't sound right and it doesn't make sense to say that because it's not grammatically correct in French to say. The same as in English, if you say apple, you have 2 A's that are clashing. Okay? So you say an apple. Okay? It's a better understanding of what you're saying. So that's why the N apostrophe was placed there. When it comes to asking questions in French, you can either do a formal question or an informal question. Okay? So with a formal question, we'll use est-ce que. Est-ce que vous parlez français? Do you speak French? So that's a formal question. Usually when you hear est-ce que, it prompts you to a closed-ended answer. It's asking for a yes or a no answer. Because if you say, do you speak French in English, the answer is most likely going to be yes or no. Okay? It doesn't give you room to ask details. So, est-ce que vous parlez français? Do you speak French? Oui ou non? Yes or no? Let's look at another formal way to ask a question. We could say, parlez-vous français? Still means the same thing in English. Do you speak French? Parlez-vous. The verb is parler, And vous is second person, pluriel, okay, plural. Vous, and because it's formal, because we're using vous. Parlez-vous français? Do you speak French? However, it's an inversion here, okay, because the vous is last. The verb comes first and the vous comes second. If we wanted to do an informal question, vous parlez français? Still means the same thing in English. Do you speak French? But here you see the words, the verbs, and the subject are transposed, okay? So the informal, vous parlez français? Vous parlez français? Do you speak French? Parlez-vous français? Do you speak French? They mean the same thing, but one is an inversion, and one is formal, and the other one is informal. One of the things I noticed with English speakers when I moved to the US was the use of question tags. Question tags really threw me off because I didn't understand them. I didn't understand why at the end of a question, somebody was asking another question. Now, question tags do exist in the French language. However, they're not used as much as English speakers use them here in this country. So we're going to look at some examples. Question tags are short questions at the end of a statement. They're used to ask for information, and they're also used to confirm information. So let's look at some examples in English of question tags. So in the first example of a question tag in English, we have, Mary can speak English, can't she? So in the first portion of the question, it is a positive statement, and then it's followed by a negative statement. Mary can speak English, can't she? This person is asking for a confirmation. They're asking, can she speak English? And most likely the person is going to say yes or no. Okay? So your intonation is higher at the end of your question. Mary can speak English, can't she? Can't she? Okay? That pitch, higher pitch is there because we're asking for confirmation. So we'll say yes or no. In a negative statement, the question tag is going to be positive. So in this example, Mary can't speak English, can she? So now we're asking for information. We want to know, can she speak English? So when it comes to using question tags in French, we have, vous êtes français, n'est-ce pas? You're French, aren't you? Okay, so n'est-ce pas and question tags in French are mostly used in formal setting. You're meeting somebody for the first time, you want to make them feel welcome, you want to make them feel invited, okay, you want to put them at ease so they can share information, and that's when you use question tags mostly. It's not used so much on a casual conversation every day. People don't use that necessarily. It's more formal settings. When it comes to asking for specific information in French, French uses interrogative expressions, adverbs, or adjectives. So let's take a few examples. So in the first example, comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? The literal translation in English is how are you called? So comment means how, but in English we say, what is your name? Okay, so comment vous appelez-vous? That first word, comment, is your indication. It's that being specific about what is your name in French. Another example is où êtes-vous? Where are you? Okay, so où means where. We're being specific here. Okay, we're using the specific expression or adverbs or adjective. Où means where. Where are you? And then in the last example, quand partez-vous? Quand partez-vous? Quand means when. When do you leave? When do you leave? In this lesson, we've covered the French present tense. We've covered the 3 different usages. The first one is the action in its current situation in the present. The second was the habitual action. And the third is future scheduled action. We also learned how to create a negative statement. We learned about how to ask a question with est-ce que, and also learn about question tags in English and in French. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. On se dit à la prochaine. On see you soon.